Welcome to the Group Dentistry Now show, the voice of the DSO industry. Kim Larson and Bill Newman talk to industry leaders about their challenges, successes, and the future of group dentistry. Visit groupdentistrynow.com for more DSO analysis, news, and events. Looking for a job or have a job to fill? Visit joindso.com. We hope you enjoy today's show. Hello and welcome to the Group Dentistry Now show with Kim Larson and Bill Newman. We're here talking about events. We get probably 3 or 4 times a week people asking us about events, what events they should go to, what events are good. So we decided we were going to do an audio-only podcast, our first audio-only, and we're going to talk about impressions from 2019 meetings and also looking forward to 2020 meetings. And this is actually a great podcast for both industry partners, vendors, and DSOs. So, hi, Bill.
Hi, Kim. This is going to be a lot of fun.
It is. But before we start talking about events, let's just briefly touch on some milestones we've hit here at Group Dentistry Now. It's been a banner year, thanks to our amazing subscribers, advertisers, etc.
Yeah, it's been a super busy year. We have exceeded our growth goal for 2019 by quite a bit. We grew over 30% from 2018 to 2019, and we are looking forward to having a even stronger 2020 as the industry becomes more focused on group practices and DSOs.
And we had an amazingly exciting experience as well. About a year ago, NYU Langone Dental Medicine reached out to us to write a course for their dental residents. It was pretty amazing because they recognized that the dentists coming out of dental school are just not prepared for the marketplace. And they are the largest dental residency program in the country. And they knew their residents really needed to receive unbiased information, which they could use to make educated decisions upon graduation.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but a lot of fun. And that was something unique that we hadn't really thought about, but educating dental students, having them understand the group practice and DSO options, as well as solo practice options and coming on as an associate. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of work, and hopefully we'll continue to do things like that.
Yeah, their goal was to provide knowledge and education to empower their residents to help better understand the industry, because it is very confusing, and a lot of the information that they're receiving is hearsay or opinion, sometimes or most of the time from solo practitioners. From this point on, though, they're going to be presented with concrete facts and figures. As a matter of fact, it's going to be a required course for NYU Langone Dental Medicine, which started in July 2019. So from this point on, they'll be educated residents, and hopefully other dental schools will
follow suit.
So now let's get into some recaps here from 2019. Let's start at the beginning of the year. So I was able to attend some of the meetings, Bill, but you were able to attend most of the meetings. So let's start with Dental Group Evolution, which occurred in January at the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah, it was a great way to kick off the new year with a emerging group DSO meeting. Heidi Arndt, who's was formerly of Enhanced Hygiene, started that meeting, 3 or 4 years ago, and I believe they had about 250 to 300 attendees. Really well done. They also announced the merger or the sale of Enhanced Hygiene and Dental Group Evolution to Membercy and Eric Johnson's company. And I am not sure, I haven't heard anything about a Dental Group Evolution in 2020, however, so you have to keep informed with us and stay tuned to see if that's actually going to happen.
We'll definitely keep you posted if there'll be a 2020 event. So let's move on to the AADGP Expo, the American Academy of Dental Group Practice Expo. That was held in Las Vegas, Nevada in January, late January, early February. You attended that. How did you like that?
Yeah, so this is one of those meetings that's been going on for, I think it's 3 decades now. It's the original group practice meeting. And I tell you, to me, it seems very exhibitor focused. I don't think there are a lot of group attendees. If they're there, they don't seem to be around much. Engaged, yeah. So it's always been a little strange from an event standpoint. A lot of exhibitors, not a lot of groups or dentists there. And I think one of the things looking forward into 2020, so 2019 event, I was there in 2018 as well, not super impressed with it. And one of the things for 2020 is they moved the date. So it's not at the end of January anymore. In 2020, it's actually going to be February 19th through February 22nd. And that coincides with the Chicago Midwinter meetings.
Oh, boy.
So if you are, especially from an exhibitor or a vendor perspective, I think a lot of people are going to be at Chicago Midwinter versus this meeting. So it'll be interesting to see what the attendance looks like.
Yes.
I will not be there.
There are so many dental shows. They should be really checking
Right.
with each other. So
That's
let's move on.
conflict.
Lots of conflicts there. Let's move on to the ADSO. That's the Association of Dental Support Organizations Summit. That was held at the end of March in San Diego. I remember a lot about this event. It was cold at the baseball game. A lot of cold people for Southern California, Bill. But I heard it was a fantastic event.
Yeah, the largest event of 2019. I believe it was 1,100 attendees. Yeah, great event. I was actually on a marketing panel.
You got good reviews for that one.
I did. Yeah, it's great. I think one of the issues with the ADSO Summit is that it's so big. You really have to do a lot of research ahead of time to figure out what sessions you're going to attend, because you can't be everywhere. Mm-hmm. So it becomes a bit of an issue. But certainly an event that everybody that's anybody is at. It's a global event. You have DSOs from all over the world. I talked to DSOs from Japan. I talked to
Brazil?
some DSOs from Brazil, and there was also some Australia and New Zealand, I believe.
Very
that I had the
exciting.
opportunity to speak with.
Yeah, that's a great event. I can't wait. I'll be going to this upcoming ADSO Summit next year in Washington, D.C.
National Harbor.
At the Gaylord.
Yeah, at the Gaylord. And that is March 11th,
Through
2020
13th, yep.
through the 13th.
And it's going to be really exciting this year because they're going to actually incorporate their highly successful Partnering for Growth meeting as a track at the summit. So that will save people a lot of travel time and expense. So that's going to be pretty exciting to see how they incorporate that Partnering for Growth, because that's going to appeal to a lot of emerging dental groups.
And I think it'll appeal to industry partners as well that couldn't get to both meetings. So now you'll have Partnering for Growth and the Summit all wrapped into one.
In beautiful Washington, D.C. I'm very excited, I have to say. I love that location. And it's nice to see a new location for an event. We don't often see them in the East here.
Yeah, that's true. We don't get a lot in the East. The Partnering for Growth probably 2 or 3 years ago was actually at this same Gaylord, which was...
I love the Gaylord,
Great location.
So let's talk about the Academy of Laser Dentistry. They had their unbiased laser training and certification partner for groups and DSOs in April in Plano, Texas.
Yeah, so not really a DSO meeting, but the Academy of Laser Dentistry had a track that was focused on for groups and DSOs, and I talking to a couple of the people at the event. Heartland Dental was well represented there for sure.
And we'll keep you updated if they have any events next year that will be focused again for groups or DSOs. And up next, let's talk about the DSO Leadership Summit, which was hosted by 1-800-DENTIST and Dentsply Sirona. That was held in Santa Monica, California, April 10th through 12th, and they did a DSO diagnosis there and a point-counterpoint.
Yeah, that was actually a nice format. I really enjoyed that event. Great setting, and it was very, very intimate. And they did a survey as well of the DSOs that attended, which I found just the results of it were really fascinating. So the event will go on in 2020 as well. It'll be their 6th annual Leadership Summit. It will be in Los Angeles, April 15th through the 17th. And that'll be co-sponsored by, it'll be Futuredonics 1-800-Dentist, and then also I believe HR for Health is involved with the event now. So that is something I am looking forward to going to once again.
So let's talk about the Henry Schein DSO Education Forum. 2019, they held it in Las Vegas, and it was May 17th through 18th. And it was the same time as the CDA. They held it at the ARIA.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, that conflict, I believe, conflicted 2019 and then also in 2018 as well. So, yeah, even with that conflict, they had close to 800 attendees, which is great. Great meeting. You know, the one thing I really like about that is they have this huge contingency from Canada as well. So they have a lot of Canadian DSOs. As that space starts to consolidate more, there are more and more DSOs there, and they're craving information, so they come down to Las Vegas and get a lot of that from the Henry Schein DSO Education Forum. So in 2020, Henry Schein is actually going to have the event at the ARIA again. It will be in May. It'll be May 1st and 2nd. And
so no conflict.
So no conflict with CDA, which is great. And I expect there'll be many more people than 800.
Yep, always a good show.
Really looking forward to that.
So let's talk about the DEO Summer Summit 2019, the emerging future of group dentistry. And that was held in Phoenix, Arizona, June 27th through the 29th.
Yeah, the Dentist Entrepreneur Organization really puts on excellent events, and they have 2 public events a year, the Summer Summit and the Fall Summit that Kim will talk about soon, later on in this podcast. Great event. I think it was 118 degrees there, though, so the air conditioning was cranked. Great information. JW Marriott is a wonderful venue. I don't know the exact number they had there, but it was, I'm going to say 600 or 700.
Good turnout.
I believe they sold out.
That's amazing.
Yep.
And for the next summit,
so the Summer Summit in 2020 will also be at the JW in Phoenix, Arizona. Dates are a little different. It'll be June 4th through June 6th. And go ahead, Kim.
We're going to have something very exciting going on with them at that event. We are actually, so every year we do an emerging groups to watch list. And what we do is we get applications from emerging dental groups from all over the United States. We go through everything and do due diligence, and we choose groups to watch. And they are basically winning this title of an emerging group to watch. And it's a huge hit for us every year. People refer back to that list multiple times. So actually, we are actually going to be presenting this year an award to every one of those emerging dental groups at the DEO Summer Summit in early June.
Yeah, we're excited for that, and it makes a lot of sense to do that at the DEO Summer Summit, and to do that in conjunction with DEO as they help groups scale. So the emerging groups are their audience, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to do that and work closely with Jacob and Darren and the team at DEO.
Yeah. And let's talk next about the DICOMA DSO Conference in 2019. It's the definitive conference for dental support organizations. I really enjoyed that show. Had a great time talking to Brian Kaleo and all my other DSO friends there.
Yeah, it's that event gets larger and larger every year. I
think he said, was it 800?
It might have been 850. So it was
attendees.
A lot of attendees there, and this was I believe it was their 6th definitive conference. I went to the one. Gosh, I think the second. I don't think I went to the first one where there might have been 150 people. So the event's really grown, and some really great education there as well. And it was nice to have Kim there. She got to meet a lot of her fans.
Okay, so let's talk about
2020 first for the DICOMA DSO Conference. So in 2020, the conference will be July 15th through the 17th. It'll be at the Omni again. So it'll be the same location, which is a great location there. And I'm expecting there'll be even more people there. So
and book your room early.
Yep, definitely do that.
Their block sold out.
Yep, the block did sell out. So do that.
So that word to the wise. So let's talk about the Scaling Up Group Dental Symposium 2019, hosted by Mortensen Dental Partners. That, as always, is held in Louisville, Kentucky. That's where Mortensen Dental Partners is headquartered. And that event actually was a new date. It had been held in November, and they switched it to August, late August 21st, as a matter of fact.
Right, yeah, and that was also held at an Omni in Louisville, Kentucky, a relatively new hotel. I love the Mortensen event. I've been to 3 or 4 of them, and they have a philosophy. They say they share abundantly, so they're very open with how they do things, and they certainly live up to that. So the event was great. I think the timing of it being in August may have cut down on the number of attendees. And they had issues the year before with some bad weather in November. So I think that's one of the reasons they shifted it. So yeah, a great event, very
educational.
Very, very educational. A lot of solid information that an emerging group can take away. In 2020, however, Mortensen has decided to take a break, so there will not be a Scaling Up Group Dental Symposium in 2020, and they're going to revisit it in 2021.
Well, I sure hope they bring that show back in 2021 because it's great. So next, let's talk about the Dental Forum Open Room 2019 event, and they're actually a British company, and they have these forums all over the world. This one is the dental forum, but they also have vet forums and pharmaceutical forums, etc. But Bill, you actually had you presented here, I believe it was the State of Dental Procurement in 2019, and it was a huge hit, and we had a follow-up article because so many people requested more information since there's only so much you can touch on in a presentation. And I know this is a great event. They have the speed dating, or they call it like a speed dating type situation. So everyone gets to really meet and talk to DSOs. Industry partners and DSOs get to meet and greet.
Yeah, so it's a great event. It's very unique. Dental Forum is Open Room is the company that puts it on, and they're in all different verticals: oil and gas, and vet, and dental, which is and not just in the U.S. They're global. So it's speed dating. It's B2B meetings where you have guaranteed meetings, 15 minutes in front of decision makers, vendor across the table from procurement or a clinical director. It's very, very efficient. And to Kim's point, we did the survey where we interviewed 28 DSOs, 3 Canadian and 25 US-based DSOs on, we had 10 questions that were all geared towards procurement and purchasing. So really, really good data. They only gave it, since everything is super quick at the Dental Forum, I had 10 minutes to present it, and I didn't have enough time to go over all 10 questions. So we created an article where you can you can see all the questions, see how everybody answered them. And it was a huge hit. It's a lot of fun. I think vendors and DSOs alike get a lot of value out of the event.
Do you think it's because they limit the numbers?
Yeah, I think that's part of it, Kim, for sure. Yeah,
I think it keeps it more intimate.
It does, and I mean you've got guaranteed 15 minutes with a DSO, and you know who they are going into it. So, and they know who you are. And just in 2020, the event was in Nashville. So the event in 2019 was in Nashville, and it's going to move. It moves around every year. So in 2020, it's going to be September 16th and 17th. It's going to be in Austin, Texas, actually Lost Pines, Texas, so right outside of Austin, at a Hyatt Regency Resort and Spa. So again, it's going to be another great event, and I look forward to it.
Do you think you'll be speaking there?
I hope so.
Great. So next, let's talk about the ADSO Partnering for Growth 2019 event. It was in Champions Gate, Florida, September 25th through 27th. Bill, you were a moderator there with our good friend Darren Akapan from DEO. You moderated, 4 panels, and he moderated 2 the next day. So would you say you were on stage for about 5 hours?
Yeah, I was on stage for between 4 and 5 hours on the first day of the event. It was really well done. I enjoyed it. I think the panel discussions were really well received. There was a lot of Q&A from the audience. So I think the format is very compelling. And
they grew substantially from the year before. It was an incredibly successful event.
They did have growth in attendance, and they were competing with some other events that were going on at the same time. So considering that, the showing of the attendees were great.
Well, that's great. It was technically their final standalone Partnering for Growth event. Now that Partnering for Growth is going to be folded into the summit meeting as a track.
Correct.
Which is going to help, I think, a lot of industry partners as well as DSOs.
Right. Yeah, they don't have to make a choice. Which one do I go to? They're going to go to the summit now, and it's going to be all encompassing.
In Washington, D.C., March 11th through 13th. Mark your calendar, Gaylord. So the next event I'd like to talk about is the DEO Fall Summit 2019 that was held in Orlando, Florida, November 7th through 9th. And Bill, I think this may have been one of the only DSO shows you were not able to attend, but it was for a good reason. It wasn't because we don't love the show. It's because you were actually speaking at Carestream Dental's event as well. That was in Nashville. And the day before that, you were speaking in Whistler at the RM Group's, they're a lab company, and you were speaking about global consolidation. So you weren't at this event, but we can certainly talk about it.
Yeah, I certainly couldn't fit Orlando in when I was in British Columbia and then Nashville, but the DEO Fall Summit sold out relatively early. Mm-hmm. So from what I've heard from people that attended, it was another huge hit as expected from DEO. And I, again, sorry I couldn't make it, but it was. There'll be the Summer Summit coming up in Phoenix, and then of course
we're going to have our awards at the Summer Summit in June.
Right.
Yep. And then where is the Fall Summit?
Yes, this might be some inside information. I don't know if it's on their website yet, but I was told that the Fall Summit for DEO in 2020 will be November 5th through the 7th, and it will be in Brooklyn, New York.
Wow.
New place and new venue.
That's sure. Wonderful. It's nice to see new places. So, like we were saying, you were not able to attend DEO because you were speaking at Carestream Dental's Global Oral Health Summit, and that was held in Nashville, like we said, at the Gaylord, November 7th through 9th, and they actually had a DSO track, and you spoke about global consolidation as well as marketing beyond the patient.
I did. Yeah, I spoke on the last day of the event, and they had a nice DSO track. So it's the Global Oral Health Summit is mostly a user group meeting for Carestream customers and or potential customers, and then they did have this new for 2019 was a DSO track. So I spoke. There were several people that ran DSOs or running DSOs that were speaking there as well, but I did consolidate one hour on consolidation and then another hour on marketing beyond the patient, business development marketing, and also recruitment marketing. And
that event is an immersive learning experience to help people define their footprint in the oral health community.
Yeah, and they're going to continue on. So they'll have the event next year as well, and they'll have a DSO track. So we'll keep you informed on that.
Do we know where that is or when that is?
I do not have any information at this time.
Well, we will. Well, when we know, we will share that. So as we're getting closer here in our events list towards the end of 2019, it brings us to November and Henry Schein Canada's first ever multi-site education forum. It was a half-day event for people interested in the DSO marketplace, and it was held in Toronto. So this was a free event, actually, for people to come in and learn a little bit more about the DSO space, and they had some speakers there, Hal Mueller, Jan Jeffer, and Justin Bueller.
Yeah, I think as the Canadian space continues to consolidate and as it catches up to where the U.S. is with consolidation, we're going to see more of these events as they become more important. So the Canadians who have been coming down to Las Vegas to the Henry Schein event can do that, or there are actually going to be events now in Canada that are going to be dedicated to multi-site group practice DSOs, whatever you want to call them.
Great. And last but not least for 2019 events is the Maeva Dental Advisors inaugural DSO Accelerator and Management Meeting in Dallas, Texas, held at the Canvas Hotel December 5th.
And so this is the first ever DSO Accelerator and Management Meeting for Vin Cardillo and his team. And it's actually going to be at the famous Gillies, which is, if anybody's ever seen Urban Cowboy, that's where Urban Cowboy was filmed, or at least parts of it were filmed. So I think that it's an event that hopefully be a great way to kind of finish up your year and learn quite a bit. And he's also, Vin and his team, they're including 3 complimentary 1-hour hands-on coaching calls if you attend the event if you're a DSO.
So that wraps up 2019, and it was nice to look ahead a little bit to 2020. But as we know, there are always shows being added. So if you want to stay informed about all dental support organization and dental group events for 2020, stop by Group Dentistry now. We have an events tab.
Yeah, it was a busy year, 2019, for DSO, emerging group meetings, and I'm sure 2020, even though there have been some deletions, there'll be some additions. So there's going to be a lot of great content. There'll be a lot of great networking opportunities at these different meetings. I expect that there'll be more attendees at each meeting.
Well, this has been really fun doing this audio podcast, and we're actually going to be doing more audio podcasts throughout the year. We're going to be continuing with our video podcast, but adding this element in as well because people have been asking us for it. So it's been fun and hopefully educational. Thank you so much to all of our subscribers and our advertisers. So if you see Bill and I at any meetings, please come over and say hi. I know everybody does. It's fun to meet all of the people who read us every day.
And as I look back on 2019 and I think about the meetings that I attended, it's really great to hear the stories from founder dentists, people that have founded DSOs, and how they've scaled their businesses, and the trials and tribulations, and just there's so much excitement in this part of the dental industry, and it's going to only continue. So really wish everybody well, and I encourage you to continue to share those stories with us when we see you.
Thanks for joining us. The Group Dentistry Now show has listeners across North and South America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. If you like our show, subscribe today and please tell your colleagues about us.